Hey guys, it's Miss Manning. Today we are going to be learning lesson 9 of where we read chapter 9 of The Road to Freedom. And we are working on a skill that we've previously worked on, determining the theme of a story using the details and how we can use those details to summarize the text. So first we have to identify the type of text, which we've identified as a fictional story. And then we identify the theme. Remember, that's when the author is asking us what we're supposed to learn from it. And throughout the chapter and throughout the story, we have to summarize the key details or key events in our story, and then use those details in the text that support our theme. So remember, theme is the lesson, the message, or the moral that the author wants you to learn. It's also known as the heart of the story, and it's usually unsaid by the author, but we can infer it from the text. So you can ask yourself, what did the character learn? How did the character change? Or what message is the author sending you? So remember, we start with the topics, and then that can lead us to the theme. And topics are not the theme. Topics are just one word. So if your topic was courage, it could be that it takes courage to do the right thing. If the topic was justice, then maybe your theme might be actions have consequences. If your topic was honesty, maybe your theme might be that you need to always tell the truth, or making sure that you are honest with yourself. That could be the theme. Love, a theme could be love is better than hate. So remember, it's not said by the author, but also you should be able to take your theme and apply it to an episode of maybe your favorite TV show and make sure that it could apply. So it's not very specific when it comes to theme. Our by the way words are BTW words. First is Buffalo. It's the city in New York, and it's located right on Lake Erie at the head of the Niagara River. And Canada is just across that river. So if we look here, all of this white is New York. Buffalo is right here. And if you see this dotted line right here, it's the boundary between Canada and the United States. So once they made it to Buffalo, they just have to cross that river and they are in Canada. Then we have the Niagara River. It separates the United States from Canada. So we will be reading about that in our chapter today. So while we're reading chapter 9, I want you to think about how the events in chapter 9 resolve the conflicts that Emma and her mama have faced. So think about the conflicts that have happened. What's their overall goal? Their overall goal in this book is to escape slavery. So how do they resolve those conflicts in this chapter? Hidden beneath blankets and surrounded by sacks, we sat on the hard floor of the train car. We heard the long toot of the horn as it pulled out of the station. I'd never moved so fast, and my stomach turned and twisted with the train. Mama offered me food, but for the first time since we ran, I couldn't eat. I was tired and sore. I looked over at Mama. Her head rested on her knees, and her boots were nearly worn clean through. Her dress, dirty and torn, hung on her loose like a sack. She looked up at me. She looked up to see me staring and smiled. "You were real strong, Emma," she said. "Your papa would have been proud." I smiled back. "You too, Mama," I said. She reached for my hand. "Almost there," she whispered. Every once in a while, me and Mama would peek through the crack in the car, hoping to see something, but there was nothing to see but trees and more land. Hard to tell Buffalo from where we'd come. Another day dawned, and the train slowed to a stop. We waited. Was this our stop? Mama got up to look, and the door to the train car opened. Outside, a man waited. His skin was brown like mine, and his hair was as white as the moon. He led us to his carriage and helped us up. The day was still and gray, and all the trees were bare. "I'll take you up to Lewiston, to the Niagara crossing," he said. "Make it across, and you're in free territory. You need to find a house with 4 pillars. From there, you'll row across the river." He helped us down, and we gathered our blankets and the last of our food. He turned to his carriage and rode away, humming a song. "Oh, Canaan, sweet Canaan, I'm bound for the land of Canaan." When we saw the house with 4 pillars in front of us, I squeezed Mama's hand. I couldn't believe freedom was across the water. I didn't know what our new life in Canada would be, but I knew as I boarded that little rowboat that whatever it was, I was safe from the auction block, and we were together. The sun was setting, and up above us the North Star was shining bright. We rode towards Canada and into freedom. Our first vocabulary word is found on page 51. It's the word surrounded. So let's read the sentence. Hidden beneath blankets and surrounded by sacks, we sat on the hard floor of the train car. So this word surrounded is used to describe them in that train car, and they're hidden. And I just always think of, when I hear surrounded, it makes me think of the word around. So they're around a bunch of sacks, and I picture a train car full of things, and they're trying to stay hidden in there. So they want to be covered or surrounded by those sacks. Our next word is on page 52, pillars, and the following word, territory, is on page 52 as well. So let's read through those. I'll take you up to Lewiston, to the Niagara Crossing, he said. Make it across and you are in free territory. So when we see this word territory, they're talking about free territory. We know they're heading towards freedom. They're going north. So territory is just meaning the area or land. You need to find a house with 4 pillars. So I know it's something that would be with a house and there would be 4 of them. So something like windows or something like that might work, except for pillars are a little bit more descriptive than, like, if you were to say a house with 4 stairs or a house with 4 windows. Pillars are something that you could see from far away, and they're just like big columns that are in the fronts of the house. But we know because of the sentence that pillars have something to do with a house. So even if you weren't quite sure what a pillar was, as long as you could associate it with a house and something that they could see or identify that house by that word. All right, so what 2 experiences does Emma have, or what 2 new experiences does Emma have in chapter 9? So I added the pages here, and if we're looking here, this is on the first page that we read. When they're on that train car, we heard the long toot of the horn as they pulled out of the station. I never moved so fast. So I kind of have to think about what I know about Emma and how far she's come, what she's been through, where she came from. When we first read about Emma, she didn't even have any shoes. She'd never been off of the plantation. So a new experience that I think Emma has had is that she rode a train for the first time. How to spell road correctly. So I challenge you in this page to read through it and find the other new experience that Emma has in this chapter. So when we were talking about finding the theme, the best way to do that was to identify the topic first. So when I think about what Emma and her mother have done throughout the story, whether it was leaving their slave master or it was hiding from the slave catchers in the forest, whether it was traveling by night and having to trust people, what I could identify as a topic would be bravery. So bravery can help lead me to what I believe the theme of the story is. And the theme that I think that this story is that people often need to face danger bravely in order to achieve true freedom. And the reason that I say that is because they had to not only face danger, but they had to be brave about it. They couldn't freak out every time somebody was after them. They had to be brave about what they were doing. They had to be brave in order to know that they could trust these strangers, and they had to take a chance. And that was the only way they were going to be truly free as slaves at that time. So now that I've identified what the theme is, I've got to be able to offer text evidence that supports that they were facing danger and that they were brave about it. So I put 3 blanks here, and we could definitely find much more throughout the text to support that. But my goal is to have you start with the 3 pieces of evidence that you would find in the text where they were facing danger bravely. Off of the top of my head, I would think about the moment where they are hiding from the slave catchers, or the moment where they're on the ice. So go back and look at throughout the text to find the text evidence for those moments in our story. We have one section of our story left. That's the epilogue, and we will do that for lesson 10. All right, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye.